Hey, Facebook family, this is Bradley. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. And I just want to give everybody a chance to come online with me and, just be here. And as we start another video back at our regular time, 9 p.m. And it's now a new month. We're in December now. And last month was just, wow, a very special time that I was able to spend with my oldest grandson, Bryce, and we talked about grief from a child's point of view. And a lot of good things came in that month. Just to let you guys know a little bit of backstory, Bryce and I would kind of talk out each video before we did the video each week. And if I had questions for him, I would kind of pre-prime the pump a little bit, and I would say, hey, I'm going to ask you about this. I'm going to ask you about that. What do you think about this? What if I mentioned that? And the videos were not canned. They were not scripted. But, we had a lot of discussion beforehand just to kind of ease his nerves, ease my nerves, and all those kind of things. And a lot of things went on before you guys saw the video and after you guys saw the video that just blessed my heart. They were not captured on film. They were not recorded. But it was just a great time sharing between he and I. And I wanted to kind of use time today to talk a little bit about what I learned from him and what I gleaned from him and how my heart was touched during the past month. And that's why I called it, what my grandson taught me about grief. And I guess a better thing to say is what my grandson is teaching me about grief, because it's an ongoing thing. And if you guys missed any of last month's videos or any of the videos before last month, and you want to keep abreast of those videos or even videos that are coming up in the future, I have now a YouTube channel, and we'll make sure that the link gets into the comments. And you can find the videos there, and you can all of the videos that I shot with Bryce are in a special section. I think we call that little sub channel Children's Grief, and so there are all of his videos there. So please go back and take a look at those. And I have other videos that I've shot previously before he became my co-host that you'll find there also, and I just hope that they'll bless you. But I want to give everybody a little bit more chance to get in here, and I'm just going to go over a few things I jotted down, a few things, just some sentence starters of things that I kind of learned this past month from Bryce, and some things that I've just kind of learned in the past 2 years as we've been grieving as a family. But I thank you guys for being here, and let's get to it. So one of the first things that I've learned from Bryce that was either captured on film or not captured on film. These are kind of go back and forth a little bit. But one of the big things that I learned from Bryce is that as an adult, the words that I say about grief mean a lot. For instance, I don't know if you saw the videos yet or anything like that. Please go back and watch them. But as we went through the videos, what I noticed is that certain words that I would use, he would push back on. Because I would say, Alana died, or Alana's gone. And he would push back on that. He would do it in a gentle way. And I didn't realize he was doing that until about the third or fourth video. He didn't like the word, or doesn't like the word, died or death. He prefers passed away, or she's with God, or she's transitioned. And I know that can be semantics, and people can, say what they want to about that. But as an add-on to that, because yes, Bryce knows that Alana is gone, physically gone from this earth. She's gone. But I believe that he prefers passed away versus died, because he feels Alana still living in his heart, and she's still living, but he just can't see her. And I'll give you a prime example of that. He's going to a new school now, and we were interviewing the teacher, well, not interviewing the teacher, but kind of talking to the teacher about school and things like that. And just out of the blue, the teacher asked us, oh, well, how many kids are at the house? And we were just kind of sitting there. And before I could answer, Bryce said 3. And it kind of took us back a little bit. And we kind of looked at each other. We were like, okay. And the teacher saw that we were a little bit startled by his answer. And then Bryce said, well, Paw can explain it to you. And I told him that, he and TJ are here. And we have one angel granddaughter that she's no longer with us. But Bryce clearly feels that Alana is here. Her presence is all over the house. We have pictures of her up around the house. We talk about her. We spend time just, telling stories about her. So she's living here with us. We love her present tense. We didn't love, I don't know if I'm going to say this right. Loved her, ED. We love her. So it's an active love for her and admiration for her and feelings of her. And so, yes, death, and it's weird because, and I'll get into this a little bit later. A lot of us, some people see death as the end, but it is such a powerful thing that as a believer, we know death is not the end. And what's so amazing is that, so Bryce pushes back on the word death because probably in his mind and how other people understand death, he may be seeing them saying, well, you say death means the end. It's over. But he'd rather say passed away or passed on or transition because that's an active word. That's an alive word. And that's powerful. That the vocabulary might not be there, but he senses the meaning that, no, death means the end and it's not over. And that's powerful. And so that's one thing that I learned from him. Another thing I learned from him that I can't, and we can as adults, we cannot teach a child peace. They have to find it for themselves. And I know that can be hard as an adult to realize, because sometimes we feel that peace is sheltering, making them feel safe and things like that. And obviously we can do that, but we can't teach them peace. And I've realized that through these videos, because the things that I prayed over him, even from infancy, that God, please watch over his spirit. Please keep his spirit strong. Because even from birth, his spirit, his joyous spirit was so strong and, literally overpowering of us. And I always prayed, even before Alana passed away, that God, please protect his spirit. Please keep him joyous. Please, just God, please do that. And then Alana passed away. And it definitely affected him. It affected us. And we're still working through things, and we're still trying to find the joy we had, and it may not ever come back. But I was like, and so I'm thinking, oh God, all these things I pray for to bless his spirit and keep his spirit strong. Please, God, don't let his spirit be broken. That God is still holding him. And he has a joy and he has a peace that can't be taught. That's God on his life. And you can't convince me otherwise. And what's so powerful about that, and it's kind of a combo, I'm kind of all over the place, I know, but it's kind of a combo of another thing that I was thinking is that, well, let me go through this first, because I realized, because he has this peace, that extreme peace and joy can coexist with grief. They can coexist. It's not one or the other. They are coexisting. And I'll give you a prime example of that. And this is, I've seen this hold on him from birth till today. There has not been a day that Bryce and I have spent the night in the same house. So whenever we're in the same house together and we spend the night in the same house together, that next morning, every morning without fail, every day, without ever missing a day, he wakes up with a joy that sometimes is irritating. His joy is so strong and just pours out of him. If we wake up in the same house, his first inclination of what he does when he sees me or doesn't even see me, he runs to me, hugs me around my neck, says, "Good morning, Pawpaw," and kisses me. Every day, without fail, every time we wake up in the same house. That is a joy that cannot be taught. That is a peace that cannot be taught. Wow. And I'm trying to hold myself together here. And it shows how God has a grip on his life and won't let him go. And that is powerful, but it shows me how little I have to do with it. And that's powerful. And it's a blessing. It's powerful. It's overwhelming at times. And the comments that have come in about Bryce and about his knowledge and his maturity and his manners and all these things. Yeah, some of that stuff is taught. We make him say, "Yes, sir." We make him, treat elders with respect and things like that. Yeah, we model that for him. But some of these things, I was being blown away sitting right here next to him. Like, where did that come from? And it's that, yeah, they always say kids catch things. They're not taught, they're caught. And yes, some of the stuff he might have caught from us and some of it, but I'm blown away with just how his servant's heart wants to serve others that are hurting. Okay, so what I say means a lot. We've gone over that. Deep grief and great joy can't coexist. Another thing that I learned from him, and I keep saying as an adult because I want you to really observe the children in your lives that are grieving with this, is that death doesn't separate. And I know it connects to something else that I said earlier. But this is something that I learned from my grandson, is that death does not separate. And I explained this a little bit earlier, but his connection with his sister is not broken. Yes, it's physically broken. Yes, he can't play with her. Yes, he can't hug her, yes, he can't talk to her and things like that. But the connection is there. And it's such a powerful thing because, I'm an NPR listener and stuff like that. And I remember, this is way back before Alana passed away, I was listening to a radio show, and it was saying how the people that you spend most of your lives with, if you're not an only child, are your siblings. When you're born, your parents are kind of old, we think they're old. You get married when you're an adult, and all those people are with you for periods of your life, but your sibling is with you for the long haul in most cases. And Bryce and Alana were 2 years apart, and I grieved for him not having that person that will be with him most of his life. I grieve that because I'm a grandparent. I may not be around too much longer. But it was just the idea that one person that would experience most of his life with him is now gone. And I still grieve that today. But I realize because he feels that death does not separate, she's with him. And she will be with him for the long haul. And she is in his heart, and she is in his thoughts. She is in his memories. And even though she's not physically there, he carries her with him. And that is so powerful to know that. So that's something else I learned from him. I learned this, and it may seem cliche-ish and things, cliche-ish, but his heart is pure. And it's something that actually happened tonight that hammered that home for us. But his heart is pure. And he wears this servant heart on his sleeve. And he cares about how people feel about what he says. He wants to know that children are being helped and parents are being helped to care for their children. He wants the people that have served him, like Camp Agape and the church and other grief organizations. He wants them to know that they're appreciated. That's what kind of heart he has. That's what I'm learning from him. And the Spirit of God is ever present on him. And I know that God has something for him. And even through this, he will minister, he will serve. And we're not going to push him into that. I believe that the Spirit is pulling him into that. But those are some of the things that I've learned from my grandson. And I've seen some comments and things come through. Okay, they're mostly from the same person, so we're good. Yeah. But if you have questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. But those are just some of the things that I've learned from Bryce. And knowing that, another thing I've learned from Bryce is knowing how he's really passionate about people understanding grief from a child's point of view. For instance, when he said, adults need to have the confidence in themselves to allow children to feel safe and be served by others. And I know as an adult, that's hard because you feel like, I'll give him everything he needs. I'll give him the attention he needs. I'll give him the counseling he needs. I'll give him the resources he needs. I know what books to buy. I know what articles to read. And when he said, let us be served by other, essentially this is what he said, let us be served and cared for by others, because we can comfort them in our own special way. So he knows a comfort that only I can give him. And so I need to realize nobody else can give Bryce what I can give him, but he needs more than what just I can give him. So that was a very important lesson for me, not to shelter him. And it was a very important lesson that I wanted to make sure that other adults here don't shelter them. Let them be served by others, professionals or caring hearts or whatever else that they feel comfortable with. That includes teachers. That includes professionals. That includes other grieving children. So, and let them explore who they want to tell and build a relationship with based on that grief, or letting other people in to that grief in their lives. So that was very important. Yeah, those were kind of the essential things. I definitely appreciate you guys' comments and the comments that have come through so far. I appreciate you guys being here online with me and sharing with me and just sticking with me through this. They're easy videos because I know people can use them, but they're extremely hard videos because I never know what God is going to place on my heart as I do them. And I just want to be here to serve. I just want to be here to help in any way that I can. And Bryce and I will continue to serve in that way. My family will continue to serve in that way. But, tonight's video is not that long. We just hit 20 minutes just now. And, I wanted to mention the video that I use for the ad is my graduation video from seminary. Alana passed away right after I started seminary. And the picture you saw in the ad of me and Bryce. That's he and I at my graduation. And my graduation was almost to the day a year after Alana passed away. I graduated May 13th, 2017. She passed away May 11th, 2016. And during that time when I was in seminary, it was pretty much every class that I took was the class I needed at that time to pull me closer to God, pull me out of some of the deeper throes of grief that I was having at the time. And it gave me something to focus on. But that was one of the hardest weeks of my life because I knew at that moment I no longer had school to focus on to keep my mind off of Alana so much. And though I graduated, it's very symbolic that I am wearing that graduation robe in that picture. But the things that I've learned from my grief were not symbolized in that cap and gown, but were symbolized in that little guy that I was holding on to in the picture. A lot of things that I've learned in my grief, I've learned through trying to do my best to help him and the rest of my family grieve in a healthy way. And I'll leave you with this. It's probably one of the last things that I'll say that I really learned from my grandson is that my need to be strong is not what was helping him get on the healing journey. But instead, me being authentic in my weakness is what is helping him heal. If you watch the videos, you would see plenty of times where he would say the thing that helps him or the thing that makes him feel better was crying, was his tears. They were cleansing. They were like medicine. And I make sure even now that when I'm not feeling good, he knows I'm not feeling good. When I need to cry and I happen to be in a room with him, I just cry. And because I know he's a grieving child today, he'll be a grieving man someday in the future. And if I don't throw off the facade of strength and just be real in my brokenness of my grief and of my sin and of everything and my humanity, when I show my brokenness in that, he sees that his brokenness is okay and normal. And he has a safe place to be broken and a safe place to be weak and a safe place to cry and to heal and let his tears be medicine instead of something he has to hide. If he feels the need to hide that out there, that's out there. He'll never have to have the need to hide that here. And that's probably one of the greatest things that I learned and we learned and leaned on each other for, and the rest of my family, is that to throw off that facade of strength and just be real in our brokenness and be real in our fragileness. So I'll leave you with that. And I thank you all for being here. We'll continue to add resources. We'll continue to jump online as much as we can on Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Central. And I hope that this is blessing you all, because just to be a little selfish is blessing me, and it's helping me with my healing. And I know that as I help others heal, as I'm hurting, my healing will come too. And I just thank you guys for giving me this time and letting me into your lives for this little time once a week. And I promise to stay here and serve you guys as long as I can, and just do what God commands and has on my heart to do to work with you. So until next time, I am Bradley Vinson, Alana's pawpaw. Be blessed, be free, and I will see you all next week. Same time, same day. Be blessed. Love y'all.